Next, we have Miss Rhonda Caldwell. She is going to be talking about a really interesting finding and report that she has, and I actually would like to be able to let her share her screen. So let me see if I can. Rhonda, do you want to try to share? You're muted.
Alrighty, I'm unmuted and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I just want to talk a little bit about, um, let's see, let's get to this screen. Now let's share. Can you see that?
It's starting. I do see it now. Yep.
Okay, so thank you so much, Grace, for organizing this and putting this together. I just, everybody on the council knows, or let me just give everybody a little bit of information on who I am and my background. I'm the 5th District Council person. I have been a part of, arguing about the town's taxes and things for years, even way before I got on the council in 2023. Um, my background is in finance and also have a master's degree in public administration from University of New Haven with a concentration of city management. I got that over 20 years ago. I look a little bit younger than I really am, but um, I just want to say that at my job at CHFA, at Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, I was the senior program officer for all the housing authorities in the state of Connecticut. And in that position, all I did every day for probably several years while I was there was to analyze audited financial statements of municipalities, and even Hamden Housing Authority was one of my municipalities that I had to examine their audits, examine and approve their budgets. So I wanted to just I wanted to tell Grace what I found in our budget, the current one, the proposed one, and even some of the audited financial statements that are online here in the town of Hamden, which I think can also be another factor in trying to figure out what is a fair mill rate. We already know the mill rate right now is running 46.1 according to our mayor's department. And that's at the current grand list amount, that's about 5,330,863 per mill. So I went and I said, let me go and look. I'm going to go ahead and make this smaller so I don't see anybody. So I don't.
Rhonda, sorry to interrupt you, but because someone asked, could you just freeze the top pane so they could see what the columns are?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Let's see. I'm on Google Sheets, so you guys are going to have to really bear with me because I usually don't. I usually use Excel, but I decided to use Google Sheets so I can invite people to it. So I took all of the things that are on the 2026 budget. Let me just start by telling everybody that we don't get monthly financial statements. Okay, I hope everybody doesn't fall out the chair, but we do not get monthly financial statements. We are a council, which is basically like a board of directors of a $300 million enterprise, also known as our town. And I have never seen a balance sheet for this town. So when people say, well, what do we have in ARPA fund? I don't know. What do we have in the general fund? I don't know. All I have to go on is the audited financial statements. And if you want to know, I went to the website and I've already been told the 2024 financial statement is not yet done. Okay. That financial statement is due, according to our charter, 90 days after the close of the fiscal year, which would have been June 30th of 2024, which means that audit should have been in the hands and presented to the council by September 30th. As of today, we don't have it. We don't even have an explanation, and we haven't given anybody any official extensions. All I know is I don't have an audit, so I don't have any balances to go on. And that coupled with the fact that I also don't have monthly financial statements. What I do have, what I was able to get, was I able to go onto the website, to the financial portion of the website, and pull down the income report that they have up there in the Munis report, and pull down the expense report, which is incidentally, I'm going to add insult to injury, that is only through January. The February financials have not been included in the website. So I don't have, so right now we're getting ready to go into a budget season and we don't have any financial statements. We don't know how the town has been operating in the last 9 months. So I don't, that as a finance person, as a person who's worked with municipalities all over the state of Connecticut for 8 years, and now I work back in the private sector, working on hundreds of millions of dollars of budgets and audits. It is it's almost next to impossible to tell you taxpayers what money I need when I can't tell you how we're currently operating. I can't tell you how much of each budget line item we've actually spent. So what I had to do is I took the information that I could get from the website, the income information through January, and the expense information, the revenue and the expense information from through January, and I had to recreate my own financial statements, annualize it, and see where we are, so I can make a determination if the budget numbers that are presented by the mayor are close to budget. Are we over budgeting? Are we under budgeting? Because there needs to be some real life comparison to the operate. How are we operating? So I just threw this together because I wanted to kind of make some sense to me, because I'm a numbers person. Again, remember, this is what I do. My brain is always thinking numbers. So I put this together. So this column, the pink column here, is the fiscal year 25 through January. This is the information I got from the website. All right, those are the expenses. So the tax office through January has spent $166,000. The variance on the website says that they have available in their budget is $148,000. That would be monies that's still available in the budget, the approved budget for February, March, April, May, and June. Now, when I annualize that number, and I just did just a quick calculation, I just divided, the 7 months divided by 7 and then times them by 12, so we can get the average of what we're trending. We're trending to have come in under budget by $30,159. Okay, so right now, the way the tax office is operating, we are operating with a budget surplus by $30,000. Now, if you look here in the green column, and I labeled that the green column because that's the money column, this is the column of money that is actually available to us in cash, meaning this is money that, based on our trends, are still going to be available at the end of the fiscal year because they're not spending what we budgeted. Okay, so if I scroll down, all right, I'll just move you guys out the way so I can get to the scroll here. All right, so we scroll all the way down here. We go back up to the green column. The green column is G. So we scroll all the way down and I annualized everything. I'm looking at, we're going to have $40 million worth of surplus, budget surplus by the end of this fiscal year. Now, I know what you're thinking. Calm down. I know all the finance people are saying, wait a minute. You might have, some things happen at the end of the year. You might get some finances at the end of the year. You might get some bills, some, medical bills, fringe benefits, OPEB. That happens at the end of the year. You can't say that we just might have $40 million worth of budget surplus. Well, here's the thing. Even if we say we're going to get half of this, we're going to have $20 million left over. It's still not close to 299. Right now, we're annualizing at 258 million. This is what's being actually spent. So even if we annualize that and say we're going to spend 278 million for our whole town for 2025, based on our current experience, which is out there on the website, we still are less than 299 million and not even close to 315, which is the current ask. Now, let me just say a little something about revals. The reval number is a great number because the state of Connecticut in the 90s, and I think I remember this, that they were doing this whole analysis that around the state, some of the smaller municipalities hadn't been doing revals for like years. It was like 25, 30 years. So they had these very high mill rates. And as you know, the mill rate is a factor. That's one of the metrics that the state uses on determining how much ECS money goes to the public school, amongst other funds that towns get. So the state of Connecticut was like, okay, we need to make towns do this, look at this every 5 years, because these we're not given a disproportionate amount of funding to towns with these really high mill rates simply because they haven't gone out and done a reval. The reval is merely a function of the metrics. At the end of the day, that is the function of how we calculate how much we're going to charge each resident for town services. The real live number is the mill rate. The mill rate drives the money bus. All right. And so I've been hearing things about, oh, the reval made me do it. It's the reval's fault. Well, it is not the reval fault. It is the $315 million fault. And then to add insult to injury to the $315 million fault, right now, according to what is posted on the website, we're only spending 258 million of the 299 ask from this year, from 2025. So this whole budget needs to be looked at a whole different perspective. It needs to be looked at, how much have you spent in each department? And we need to increase, not, and if you look at the budget presentation that's out there on ClearGov, it's comparing one budget year to another budget year. But we don't even know if we spent the money, because right now I'm looking, we didn't even spend the money. So let me just go over to my revenue projections for a second. We are looking at the mayor's proposal here, where her proposal is, we're asking for 248 million from the taxpayers. Okay, you see that? That's the tax office at 46.61 mils. I can reduce that based on our actual experience, actually what's being spent today, to 37.5. And then if I go down, if I scroll down to the bottom, let's go down to the bottom of our revenue, that's giving me $268 million in total with all the other grants and the other stuff that we get from state and other places. 260, go back over to the expense projections, we're only using 258 million. 260 would have been more than enough. 37.5, 199 million. Because why are we now? Okay, now I know what you're thinking. Let me get out in front of you here. I know you're probably thinking, like, why would we over budget? Why are we over budgeting? Well, there's there's this thing called the general fund that it looks like we've been trying to grow, which is a good thing. The general fund is a way to grow the rainy day fund. And that fund is also used in case there's an emergency in the town. We had a tornado once, and we needed to be able to tap into money to get all the infrastructure back in place. Fine. My argument is that these budgets have been inflated to use the surplus budget cash to fund the general fund. Because with that, we get a lower rate. Moody's that we keep hearing about, our bond rating agency, will give us a lower interest rate if we look like we're having surplus cash each year. But why are we having surplus cash? And if you want to fund the general fund, I recommend that we budget for deposits to the general fund. We don't just sweep surplus in there randomly every year. And the reason why I say that, Grace, I'm going to go ahead and unshare this and share the 2023 audit, if it's okay. I went through the 2023 audit, and let me show you what I found. So here's a page from the 2023 audit. Let's see. Did I share it? Do you guys see that? Grace, can you see the audit, or I don't know what, if I didn't share the right thing. Let me just go back.
Wait, I did see it, but I think it's gone now.
Hold on. Let me try to see if I can share it again. All right, let's see. All right, can you see that?